and income stability. How we can apply technology and digital literacy to advance this diversification is what our experts will lead us through in this team today. It is certainly going to be an enriching experience for all the participants and guests. It is envisaged that by 2050, the demand for food will surge to up to 70% in line with rapid population growth. And UN study found out that about 9.9% of world population still goes hungry. So the thought of feeding almost 10 billion mouths in a daunting prospect is a daunting prospect. With the environmental changes hard to predict, we must turn to innovation in agricultural technology. Nigeria as a country must totally embrace technological innovation in agriculture for us to meet the world in a food production and food security. There is nowhere now in the whole world. It's no longer the old system. You know, if you continue to use the same method our forefathers used, and we continue to think that we can move forward, it's unfortunate. Look at the University of Agriculture, where people are expecting to see the best technologies in their practice. But most of them, when you enter most of the universities of agriculture, you can't even see all the technologies that are required. In this conference, we have to bring Nigerians abreast to trending technology innovation that can make it easier for us to attain food sufficiency in agriculture. We will explore technologies that change the way farmers grow, transport, store, and manage their produce. Ladies and gentlemen, from advancements in precision agriculture to farm automation, genetics, and water management technology, innovations in agriculture technology provide a means of smarter, safer, more productive farming. This is the way Nigeria must go. Included in this year's program is an award for deserving personalities. Our research that yielded the result for their nomination were based on how resilient they have been in the advancement of the agricultural sector in their respective leadership. I want, on behalf of the Executive Committee of ASN, congratulate each of the recipients and urge them to see this award as a call to greater duty and commitment towards the advancement of agriculture in Nigeria. Before I end this address, let me express my profound appreciation to all members of ASN for their support to the executive since we were elected. The love has been massive. Their commitment is unprecedented. We will remain indebted to our host, the Vice Chancellor, Michael Okpa, University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, Professor Maribis of Oyiwe, and the Executive Director, Professor Chiegodozie Egesi of the National Youth Crop Research Institute for their massive support and provisions that made this conference successful. Our keynote speaker and awardees for their sacrifices to be present to receive the award and support the society. Their belief and faith in our society is worth celebrating. Above all, their nationalism and patriotism in Nigeria remain unparalleled. Even when government appears not to have recognized our efforts, you keep working for Nigeria. I salute you all for your steadfastness. To our guests who have come from far and near to honor our invitation, I cannot thank you enough. I pray once again for journey mercies to all of us. To the conference organizing committee, we remain grateful to you for putting a befitting conference for ASN. And all the royal fathers of the day who are here, and all those who have supported us by financial support, donations, contributions, advertisements, in so many ways, we remain indebted to you. Surely, at the right time, all of you will really be rewarded. Thank you for hearing, for listening. God bless you.
Thank you. President of ASN, thank you so very much. You were almost turning it to a pulpit for preaching, but we accept them all. Thank you. Please, let's give me another round of applause. Thank you. My attention has just been drawn to an injustice on this high table. I didn't quite look at that, but you see it's a masculine high table. And the women are already agitating for gender balance and equity. Women, is that what you said? When you come to our university, so if you come to our university, the Vice Chancellor will have him seated, and Deputy Vice Chancellors are women, Registrar, woman. It's always balanced. So please, we'd like to balance the high table, and that will be fair enough. Please permit me to recognize and bring to the high table the wife of the 6th Vice Chancellor of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, and the President of the University Women Association, Dr. Mrs. Nkechinyere Nkemiwe. Please, let's give you a round of applause as we bring her to the high table. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Please, can we clap now? How about? Thank you. Thank you. That's balance number 1. We need to do balance number 2. The wife of the president of ASN, that's the wife of the president of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, is also the registrar of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE. So I'm pleased to bring up Dr. Mrs. Nkiruka Charity Mbanaso to the high table. That is the right thing to do. That's the right thing. Is that not the right thing to do? Thank you. So please, Madam Registrar, kindly join Nipe Polo, Ipaku Debeya. I'm also bringing the wife of the Executive Director of National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE. I understand why he's laughing. But Dr. Chomegesi is seated by the side of her husband. She's already there. And the wives of other dignitaries, yeah, the chairman's wife is there. The other vice chancellor's wives are also there. I think there is a fair balance up there now. Please permit me to bring up the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Development, Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE. Please, let's bring Professor Osla Ngozi Akanwa. I want to achieve a sense of balance on this high table, so that men, when they go back home today, they'll be able to eat their food. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm also bringing to the high table another woman of international repute, who I've been told is a great supporter of this conference, formerly of the Israeli Embassy, Abuja. Please permit me to bring Mrs. Florence Osuji to the high table. Mrs. Florence Osuji, please. We recognize what you are doing, and we want to bring you to the high table. Where is she? Aha, please could you come? Let's give her a round of applause. I've heard so much about what she's doing. Thank you so much. Aha. I think we've achieved a fair balance. All right, before we move over to the next item in our program, which will be addressed by the hosts. Permit me to recognize the directors in National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE. I had earlier recognized some of the deans and the directors in Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, who are here. And they will say, would like to recognize, of course, earlier we have recognized Dr. Lojode, who is the director of Root Crop Department, Dr. C.O. Amadi, director of Tuber Crop Department, Dr. T.C.U. Mado, director Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Mark A. Tokula, director Research Support Services, Mrs. Marianne O. Mbanaso, director Administration, Mrs. S.C. Ibokwe, director Reforms, Coordination and Services Improvement, Dr. Mrs. Sally Inanye Bunam, director Peri-Urban Agriculture, I hope this is correct. Dr. Damian N. Njoko, director Liaison and Policy Integration, Dr. Marcellus Obonna, director UMUDIKE Foods Development, Dr. C.C. Nwokocha, director Institutional Assets and Facilities, Dr. Innocent I. Maxwell Wankwo, director Host Community Integration, Dr. Justin Ewuzem is the head of Nyanya Outstation, Dr. B.C. Okoye, this one is well known, coordinator Extension Research Program, all the assistant directors, all the program directors, coordinators here present. Please, these directors I've mentioned, could you rise so that we can recognize you properly? A round of applause for all of them, please. Thank you so much for the great job you are doing in this research institute. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. It is now time to listen to the address or addresses of the hosts. The Vice Chancellor of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, and the Executive Director of National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE. Let's bring the 6th Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Madwe BBC of Iwe, a certified food scientist internationally, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Oh.
The chairman of the occasion, the ably represented, the president of ASN and the leadership of ASN, fellows of ASN, and all guests that are honoring this conference. I don't really have a lecture to give because I wasn't invited to give a lecture. I was asked to provide some convenience for the participants. And that's exactly what we have done. So just a goodwill message from the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE. I recognize my fellow Vice Chancellors that are here, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lafayette, and the Vice Chancellor of the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, who happens to be the keynote speaker. That's the man we have come to watch how he's going to talk today. So I don't need to talk about anything. But suffice it to say that as the President has given us the roadmap for this conference, we're here to talk about what next to do to better agriculture. And from what we see happening from Asia through Europe to America, we must get to the next level of agriculture. Some people call it smart agriculture. Some people call it digital agriculture. Some people call it whatever. We need to take agriculture to an enviable level so that our youths and people of our time will see it as something that is relevant, something that should be pursued. I want to thank all those who are supporting our leadership at the university for everything they're doing to make sure that we catch up with the world around us. And I thank especially the president of ASN, my brother and friend and associate, Professor Jude Anayom Banaso, for giving all the support in these last 5 years, and of course, for being a leader in the agricultural sector in Nigeria. We want to thank you for bringing Nigeria to UMUDIKE to be part of, to see what we are doing, and to also sit down to discuss the way forward. For us as a university, what we are doing is to provide a level playing ground for all participants of the university to see to it that we work together to ensure that we enhance productivity, not only in training of hands that we go back to the farms, but also in training of minds that will work together to make sure that the expectations of government are met. Let me thank the Tertiary Education Trust Fund for what it's doing to make sure that we get to the level of enhanced productivity and, of course, smart agriculture. We have just finished a very one in Africa project in the university waiting for commissioning, which will be a center for smart agriculture training. If we were on that side, I would have really taken the leaders of ASN to that very place, but I think next time we are going to do that. We have already gone into greenhouse production of vegetables and fruits, and we are going to continue to sustain that. We're expecting Third Fund again to give us additional funding to achieve our dreams of greenhouse agriculture and smart agriculture. Earlier in the year, we were in Israel. I led a team of the university to Israel on exposure to permaculture, smart agriculture, and the rest of them, which in the next season we are going to, put into use in our university. So just to tell you that we are part of this dream of advancing innovative technologies, skills, and digital economy for livelihood diversification in agriculture. Our university is at the lead already, and you can always count on us, ASN. Want to thank you for coming down to UMUDIKE once again, and wish you a very, very successful conference, and wish you a relaxed atmosphere which we have here, and we expect that in less than no time, they are going to come back again to see how far we're developing advanced agriculture. Thank you, and God bless
you. Thank you very much, Professor Manuel BBC for Iwe. Thank you very much indeed. We love the collaboration and the connection between Michael Obara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, and National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE. We pray that that will continue even beyond us. Thank you very much once again, our dear Vice Chancellor. Please, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to bring to this podium the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of National Root Crops Research Institute, UMUDIKE, Professor Chidozie Egesi, to also come and address this great audience. Professor Egesi, please.
Thank you, and good morning. Is this still morning? No, it's afternoon. It's very hard to give a talk after your senior brother has given a very lovely one. VC gave a lovely talk, but like, is it culture or the protocol demands I have to just give an additional voice to tell you that we are excited to have you all here. And permit me to read the protocol list. I have seen the rep of the governor. I hope he's here. I was expecting us to call up the rep of the governor. Anyway, but we believe he's here in spirit. So I want to thank His Excellency, Dr. Alex Oti, the Executive Governor of Abia State. He's really the host, as the host state of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria 59th Conference holding today. I also want to use this opportunity to recognize my own boss. I have so many bosses at that level. The Honorable Minister of State, Senator Dr. Sabi Aliyu Abdullahi, ably represented today by my own brother, Dr. Jude Obidiegu. And then I'll go on to my senior brother again. No, I think I'll talk about Dr. Adamu Abubakar Daban, the Executive Secretary of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. He's actually asked me to represent him here today, Mr. President. The ES asked me to represent him. And I want to recognize the Vice Chancellor who just spoke, Professor Iwe. I want to recognize Vice Chancellor of FUNAB, who is also our keynote speaker, Professor Olushola Keinde. You're welcome, sir. And our very senior colleague, Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Lafia. We are welcome to UMUDIKE. I can keep on going. I want to recognize again the President of the Society, Professor Judum Banaso. I think His Royal Highness has left, is a Ben Oriako. Esteemed Council members of the ASN, distinguished academic scientists, researchers, industry leaders and entrepreneurs, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the National Root Crop Research Institute and our co-host, Michael Opera University, it's a privilege to welcome you to the 59th Annual Conference and General Business Meeting of the ASN. We are delighted to host this gathering in UMUDIKE, a place that represents the heart of Nigeria's agricultural innovation. The conference theme, Advancing Innovative Technologies, Skills, and Digital Economy for Livelihood Diversification in Agriculture, is both timely and essential. It urges us to move beyond a business-as-usual mindset and to embrace the 21st century tools that can transform our most fundamental sector. By integrating science, technology, and digital solutions, we can build resilient livelihoods and foster sustainable growth across the agricultural value chains. Choosing UMUDIKE as the venue is symbolic. It embodies a living ecosystem of agricultural research, learning, and innovation. The Michael Opera University of Agriculture shapes the minds of future food security architects, while the NRCRI, a centenarian institution, has been dedicated to root and tuber crop research for over 100 years. In 2023, we celebrated our centennial anniversary, marking a century of service to Nigerian agriculture. Our research outcomes are visible not only in academic journals, but also in the fields that feed our nation. We are also the official secretariat of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. I hope you didn't forget that. This is the secretariat of the society. So And we have also been president at least 3 good times. We've produced the president of the society. So we hold a lot. This society is very important to NRCRI. And in terms of achievement or the work that we have got going on in the areas of crop improvement, we have developed and released high-yielding, resilient varieties of root and tuber crops, especially cassava, yam, potato, sweet potato, and others. We have developed innovative propagation techniques through technologies such as vine cuttings, aeroponics, hydroponic system. The Institute accelerates access to quality planting materials, and we strengthen the seed systems of root and tuber crops. In the areas of biotechnology and gene editing, we have developed modern biotechnological tools, including genetic engineering, which we perform in-house, and gene editing also we do. They are being used to develop crops with improved resilience and productivity. In areas of capacity building, we provide extensive vocational training to farmers, to students, and to agro-industrialists, empowering them with advanced propagation skills and value addition techniques. In market-driven solutions, we have provided research support to processing and storage of root and tuber crops. For example, technologies that extend the food products shelf life beyond a year or more, as the case may be. You will see our stand outside. These innovations have contributed significantly to Nigeria's leadership in the production of cassava, yam, and taro or cocoyam globally. However, production dominance is only a starting point. The greater transformation will come from value addition, market access, and digital integration. The question before us is, what next? We must look beyond the farm gate and consider how to transfer innovative technologies from research stations to rural households. There is an urgent need to equip our youth with the skills to build smart, climate-resilient agricultural enterprises and to harness the digital economy for virtual marketplaces, traceability, insurance, and direct links between smallholder farmers and local or international consumers. NRCRI is already prototyping this future, but no institution can drive this change alone. Collaboration between researchers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and farmers will be crucial. As you participate in technical sessions, in plenaries, and exhibitions over these coming days, I encourage you to engage actively. Share your research findings and challenge existing assumptions. Seek ways to translate innovative technologies into widely adopted solutions. Forge partnerships that bridge the gap between science and practice. Develop concrete strategies that integrate digital finance and skills development into agricultural transformation. Let us leave UMUDIKE not merely with certificates of attendance, but with a shared blueprint for harnessing technology, skills, and the digital economy to build a more prosperous, resilient, and diversified agricultural sector for all Nigerians. Once again, I warmly welcome you to UMUDIKE. I wish you a fruitful and engaging and inspiring conference. Thank you, and may your time be rewarding. Long live ASN. Long live Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much once again, the Executive Director of National Root Crops Research Institute, UMUDIKE. We appreciate you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to take us to the next item on this in our program today, which has been adjusted a little bit because at this point, the governor or his representative would have been here to give us an address and declare the conference open But while we're waiting, we crave the indulgence of the chairman and participants to move on to the keynote address for this conference, which is a very important aspect of this conference, which we must all listen to. And the person that will give us the keynotes is not any other person, but the Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. It's my pleasure to request our keynote speaker to kindly stand as we tell this audience that he assumed office as the 7th substantive Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, on 1st April 2023, after he has acted as the acting Vice Chancellor between 1st November 2022 and 31st March 2023. Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde obtained the Bachelor of Science Agricultural Biology from the University of Ibadan in 1987 and bagged the doctorate degree from the same university in 1994. He began his teaching and research career at the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, as assistant lecturer in 1994, and he rose through the ranks to become a professor of plant breeding and genetics on October 1, 2007. He was a recipient of the Graduate Fellowship Program of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan, for his doctorate degree, as well as the Fellowship Award of the Chinese government in 2008 for a short course at the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Science. He was a visiting lecturer at the Mendel University in Brno, Czech Republic in 2010, and he has served the university in many capacities, including chairman of TEFAMAC, coordinator from Practical Year Program 2001 to 2004, acting head of Department of Plant Breeding and Seed Technology, 2004 to 2008. He was the director, Graduate Records and Career Center between 2008 and 2009. He was the dean of the College of Plant Science and Crop Production from 2009 to 2011, and several other responsibilities he has championed in the university. At the national level, oh, thank you for clapping. That's honorable. Thank you. At the national level in 2009, he was a member of the National Technical Group on Vision 2020, as well as the study group on the reorganization of the National Agricultural Cooperative and Rural Development Bank into what we now know as the Bank of Agriculture. Professor Kehinde had 3-year stint at the Lagos State University, where he assisted the university to establish its School of Agriculture and became the pioneer dean. Of course, he is well published in both local and international journals. He has attended conferences locally and internationally in the United Kingdom, United States, South Africa, France, China, Israel, and many others. Professor Kehinde is married to Professor Iyabode Kehinde, and they are blessed with wonderful children. Distinguished participants, let's welcome keynote speaker on this occasion, Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the compare. The Executive Governor of Abia State, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Sabi Aliyu Abdullahi, ably represented here. For want of time, please permit me to stand on already established protocols and to say that distinguished guests on the high table, including the President of Agri Society of Nigeria, I want to appreciate you for giving me this opportunity. And all fellows of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria, of which I am one. Thank you for this opportunity. The theme for this conference, as I welcome you all, is one that is very apt and one that we need as a nation. And I want to appreciate you once more for giving me the opportunity to be the guest speaker at this particular event. I will go through them, and like Professor Igesi said, my desire is that this will not just be another conference wherein we will get our certificate of participation, and then we'll be able to interact and then go back without nothing concrete happening. That should not be. And the conference organizing committee has carefully chosen the theme, and therefore it behooves on all of us here to please let this be a conference that will change agriculture for the better. Let me start by saying that the theme, advancing innovative technologies, skills, and the digital economy for livelihood diversification in agriculture, is one that is very necessary at this time in our nation's development. And quickly, I will run us through some things which many of us here that we know, but it is necessary to lay them as foundation for the discourse that we are going to have. The state of agriculture in Nigeria. The economic weight of agriculture. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing hovers between 20% and 27% of GDP in recent decades. And in 2024, the Q1 Agricultural Sector Report placed it at 21.07% of GDP, including crop production of about 19.24%, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, is one that is happening right now. While the livelihood of over 40 million households across Nigeria, with more than 70% of those households being the backbone of rural Nigeria, and it is the engine of food security, as well as the wellspring of employment for millions. And this state of agriculture presents us with a lot of challenges, which as researchers, as scientists, as eggheads in various institutions, will have the responsibility to provide solutions to them. There are food deficits in many staples, as well as billions of naira being spent on agricultural imports, while productivity falls below global benchmarks. But let us take a time to look at the crop dynamics and the sectoral structure. Crop production constitutes about 8% of our agricultural output, while 70.8 million hectares of agricultural land, of which about 34 million hectares are arable crops, are arable lands. We're so blessed in Nigeria, and the responsibility before the citizenry is to ensure that this blessing is transformed into actual and concrete blessings that we can see. Of course, we are the world's largest producer of cassava, with National Root Crop Research Institute being one of the leading research institutes when it comes to root crops and cassava especially, and a leading producer of yam. And what are the main challenges that we're all familiar with? Yes, we have yield potentials that are very low. We have limited processing, and we have weak value addition systems. We have had some of that being said this morning. And what are the systemic constraints? We have low mechanization. This low mechanization presents before our youth drudgery that they tend to run away from. We have weak linkages between research and farmers, while there is also poor infrastructure, and both in urban and some even rural areas. We also have high cost and limited access to quality inputs, with the fact that many of our inputs, especially seeds, are being imported. There are also climate risks and environmental degradation, while the main thing that is very challenging to many parts of Nigeria is security and social instability. Now, let's go to the issue that is before us. That is the issue of from tradition to transformation. We have heard it this morning that the traditional way we used to practice agriculture cannot really satisfy us. It can't get us to where we want to be. And therefore, any successful agricultural transition must rest on 4 pillars. We all desire it. It's a necessity that we must transform our agriculture from the traditional way to a transitional one that will be transformational. And the 4 pillars are listed here. Our agricultural transformation must be based on innovation. It must be based on human capital. And of course, we must recognize inclusive technology adoption and also institutional synergy. This morning, when we paid a courtesy call on the executive director and CEO of NRCRI, was informing us that it's no longer possible for us, even as researchers and scientists, to think that we'll be the only group that will take agriculture forward. We will still get to that. But we must, on purpose, bring in all stakeholders in the agricultural sector, including the businessmen, agribusiness people. We need to. And therefore, I'm challenging the leadership of Agricultural Society of Nigeria to please let's see how we can inculcate this group, because there must be synergy between us and them. Now, the first one, innovation as a catalyst. We have said it. We must embrace precision agriculture. Some people call it smart agriculture. And what it entails is that we must go to the area of using sensors, global positioning systems, remote sensing, and drones. We've been seeing it being practiced in Asia, in America, in Europe, but it's not something that is beyond us. Of course, I know that at the rudimentary stage, these are being done at elementary stages now in Nigeria, but we need to expand it. We need to advance it, like the theme of this conference is saying. And then the digital platforms and mobile apps. Yes, we are seeing mobile apps in some areas. Kudos to those who are doing that. But we must advance the use of this to get it to the level wherein it helps us to move agriculture forward. There are apps, there are mobile tools that connect farmers to markets, that provides advisory services and helps reduce information asymmetry. At the time, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture in this country came up with apps that provide advisory services to farmers and all of that. But I hope we are not going back on it. Rather, we must advance in it. There are also Smart Soil Project app. There is this one that I'm saying, the GeoGrow. It was developed in my university, wherein this app enables farmers to test their soil on their farm themselves, get the results, and get advice on the kind of fertilizer to use. Some innovations are coming up, and we must enhance them and allow them to be popular so that our farmers will be able to make progress. It's used to promote climate-smart agriculture and improve farming productivity. The second pillar, cultivating human capital for technological advancement. Human capacity is the bedrock upon which innovation truly rests. And when we talk about this, we must understand that its success depends on the people understanding it, using it, and sustaining it. Nigeria must prioritize investment in agricultural extension services, digital literacy, and adult education, while we must also strive to build a technologically literate rural workforce. It's no longer imperative for us to just put them aside or regard them as those who cannot really learn. Look, they can really learn if we make efforts to enlighten them. And we must empower Nigerians not only to adopt technology, but to adapt it and develop it. Because sometimes when we give them this through extension services, it's necessary for them to adapt it and not just to adopt it whole scale. In trying to adopt it whole scale without adapting it, they might meet with challenges that will make them to drop all these technologies. But they must adapt it and develop it to suit their own purposes even better. The third pillar is that we must enable inclusive adoption. What do we mean by this? We must not leave rural Nigeria behind in the fourth agricultural revolution. To prevent that, we must design for inclusion. One, tiered technologies, light or low-cost variants. We must place them at different levels. We must also do shared service models, clusters or cooperatives, ownership or shared service, because we must be mindful of the challenge of financing, and therefore we must encourage them to come together, cooperatives, to form cooperatives and to do things that will enable them to be in clusters. Because when they go it alone and they meet challenges, they tend to draw back, and we are back to square one. While the issue of subsidy and financing schemes must also be addressed. We must offer credit or partial subsidy for adopting digital technology bundles. These are the essentials that we must know and put into practice for us to be able to actively move agricultural production and systems forward. Of course, the fourth pillar. Please, as I said before, this fourth pillar is very essential. It is something that I want us to take away from here. In other words, at the next conference of Agri Society of Nigeria, we hope to see agribusiness, agripreneurs seated here and being part of our discourse, and also offering us the challenges that they have, because it's a very necessary pillar. The triple helix of research institutions and universities, the government and the private sector must work hand in glove. Before now, we have been working more or less in silos. And you know, we say normally the university is an ivory tower. We are right there on the tower. But now it has become essential that we step out from the tower and engage and embrace those who are really doing the work there. I hope we get it. Research is one that is very essential. Yes, we must marry research and production. Research must be focused not only on novel ideas, but on adopting pathways, user interface design, cost reduction, and scaling strategies. And I think in our universities and research institutes, it seems we are already tired of that. Research breakthroughs sitting on shelves. We are tired, and we're saying that it must go from basic and novel to applied research. And so that's a challenge for those of us who are scientists in this room. Also, government policy must be anticipatory, not reactive. Anticipatory in the sense that we should know where we should be, and the government should be able to lead us there. It must not be reactive. It must create regulatory, fiscal, and infrastructural environments that reward innovation. And I want to say, with regards to this, I belong to a Federal University of Agriculture. Initially, we had 3 Federal Universities of Agriculture in Abeokuta, in UMUDIKE, in Makurdi. And at the beginning, I think, we were placed under the Federal Ministry of Education. But it came to a point that government recognized that this triple helix must work. And so they transferred us from, don't worry, there's no problem. It's been fixed. They took us from the supervisory agency, the supervising ministry, which is the Federal Ministry of Education. Hello, no problem. Everything is under control. Like, as an aside, one officer, a soldier, he was at a place and something happened. He quickly went to his oga, sir, everything is under alarm, no cause for control. At least he heard that they always say something like that. But no alarm here. So they now took us to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture so that the ministry and the universities will anticipate challenges, will drive the environment. So as we speak, all the universities of agriculture are under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. It's with a view to enhancing this collaboration, this synergy, and more have even been established. I think we now have additional 3 or 4 universities of agriculture. And the idea is that the government policies must be creative. It must also ensure that we do things that will enable those who are really practicing agriculture to be well rewarded. I hope we can do something about this. Okay, but let me continue. So, the triple helix, we have talked about the research institutes and universities. Then, we are not talking about the government. And the third leg of this are the private sector and agripreneurs. The private sector, they are playing a major role now. I think we are trying to advance in that area, but we must bring them along. We must form synergy with agripreneurs because they must be incentivized to invest in rural agri-tech, and logistics, processing, and value chain must be well developed. This is something that is essential that we must not lose sight of, that we need to bring them together. And let's look at National Root Crops Research Institute, NRCRI, as an example. In livelihood diversification, in terms of livelihood diversification, we're trying to ensure, okay, reimagining the agricultural value chain. We all know, and it's been said, that the agricultural value chain is something that is essential. Well, you won't see that one over there. I hope the privileged few here, you won't mind them saying it. They are saying it here, but I think this will be fixed soon. Thank you very much. Okay. What about it? Please, let's just follow. We hope it will be resolved soon. And for the livelihood diversification, we must diversify into several areas. There are opportunities that are presenting themselves to us, which, if we take advantage of them, honestly, a lot of people in the agricultural space will profit from this. We have areas of agritourism, apart from production, processing, logistics, marketing, ICT, financial services, and agritourism. These are different areas we can diversify into, especially the youth of today. Many of them are developing apps. They are developing things that will have to do with agritourism, turning our farms into tourist sites, and from there, making livelihood. We need to explore these areas. Now, we have gotten to a level that we must go beyond the farm gates. Agriculture's future lies across the value chain of production, processing, logistics, marketing, ICT, financial services, and agritourism. And the youth should see opportunities in this. When we talk about agro-processing and value addition, we can convert cassava into different products. And I said something that National Root Crop Research Institute is really doing well in this. All we need to do is to bring agripreneurs into this space so that they can tap into these opportunities. And they are doing it in packaging produce into higher value goods, producing snacks, oils, and derivatives. Another aspect of the space that we can create is in cold chain storage, and logistics. Designing solar-powered cold rooms, transport services, warehousing, and supply chain optimization. These are areas that are presenting themselves to us. A lot of people now are going into cold chain, in which case, when you produce your vegetables, which are perishable, you can go to them and they will provide cold chains that are based on facilities and infrastructure that tap into the availability of sunlight. And there's also digital agribusiness. Digital agribusiness is creating platforms for e-market, traceability, blockchain for produce verification, and supply chain apps. These are various ways in which we can encourage our youth. We are producing a lot of them. The universities of agriculture, if you look at how many graduates they are churning out every year, these are areas in which they can go into. And we, as leaders in this space, we need to encourage them to go into all this. There is also the area of agricultural fintech, the financial companies that are creating insurance models, credit products, and digital payment systems tailored for farmers. These are things that we must encourage. While in agrotourism and ecosystem services, we can use farms as educational sites, ecologies, demonstration farms, or carbon credit project sites. These are opportunities that are available to us. Let's look at some success stories. Oh, thank you very much. Let's look at some success stories. In Nigeria, Afrex Commodities Exchange has built a digital warehouse and commodities trading platform that integrates smallholder producers, enabling them to store produce and access credit against warehouse receipts. So, gone are the days when we waste a lot of our produce because there are no facilities to ensure this. And all of us seated here and our colleagues, there are people, experts, scientists in these areas. So what we need to do is to leverage on their research. We should go into research in these areas to help agriculture advance in terms of production and other areas. And so, Immortalized Mill in Lagos is a fully automated processing plant with silos and modern machinery, serving as a hub of backward integration and job creation. We are seeing some of this springing up. We must encourage them. We must advance in these areas. And we must build clusters and agri-parks to catalyze diversification. We need agribusiness clusters or value chain parks embedded in rural areas. There was a time government was thinking about this, that there will be agri-parks in zones, agroecological zones, and even the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. These are areas in which we must go. And as we go into these areas, we must build synergy. Research must accompany these new areas to the extent that we'll be able to foster agricultural production, bring in more people into the space. Universities and research institutions can anchor these clusters. The clusters that are supposed to be in different geopolitical zones. We have universities of agriculture, even conventional universities, graduate students in agriculture. And when these clusters are built, research institutes and universities can anchor these clusters, providing testing laboratories, incubation facilities, extension support, and demonstration farms. We have students who can key into this even while they are still in school. We must replicate, scale, and localize such prototypes across Nigeria, particularly in ecological zones where roots and tuber crops, cereals, legumes, and tree crops dominate. We have them all around. And so we must leverage on these areas. There's also the area of risk resilience and sustainability. Diversification also builds resilience, especially in the face of climate change. It's happening globally, and we are not exempted. Input volatility and market shocks. Market shocks have negative effect on production. You can imagine farmers producing this, and then things will happen. And things that are negative can discourage them from going ahead with production. They are less vulnerable. When farmers rely on multiple income streams, they are less vulnerable to crop failure or price collapse. Value chain participation also generates more stable, predictable incomes. This we should take note of and allow them to be more resilient and to absorb shocks that will come. We must also, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, we must ensure that diversification is ecologically sustainable, promoting regenerative practices, soil restoration, and agroforestry and climate-smart techniques. Let all our innovations not degrade the land, but heal the land. As we go in to advance agricultural production, we must be very mindful to heal the land and not to damage or degrade the land. Strategies for implementation. As we consider all of this, how do we go about it? Because if we are not strategic, we will be discouraged when we face challenges, and we will scatter, which should not be. Diversification, as it builds resilience. Let's go to the next slide. policy levers and enablers. That is how to go into this. Strong, consistent, and forward-looking policies are critical. That's why someone said it today, that policies are very essential and their coordination is necessary if you really want to make progress. National digital rural infrastructure. The government must on purpose incentivize telecoms to expand broadband to rural farming zones, possibly via public-private partnerships or subsidies. We must also engage in smart subsidy frameworks rather than blanket input subsidies. Some people have advocated blanket input subsidies. Yes, subsidize input for the farmers. Make sure that you give them all of this, but we need to be careful. Rather than blanket input subsidies, let us consider digital vouchers or matching grants for adoption of agri-tech and precision tools. The smart agriculture that we want to propagate, we must know that it's somehow expensive, and therefore it needs tools that government should be able to help those who want to use them. There must also be land policy reform. In this manner, we are saying that we must streamline land rights, settling, and consolidations to promote, scale, leasing, and credit access, while customs and trade policy must eliminate import barriers for agricultural equipment, while protecting nascent local manufacturing. Of course, this one needs balancing. I mean, we just heard that the government imported about 2,000 tractors. But of course, there are tractor manufacturing and those who, put them together in Nigeria. They must be protected. We must promote exports of value-added products, not raw commodities. While the regulation of data and technology should create frameworks for agricultural data governance, interoperability, privacy, and open access to ensure farmers benefit from their data. While we must also have incentives for aggregation and cooperatives, we must encourage the formation of producer groups. When we encourage producer groups, they will be able to move ahead. Financing remains arguably the biggest bottleneck. And so what do we do? To remedy this, there should be blended finance and credit guarantees. What this means is that the public sector can de-risk private investments in agri-tech via guarantees, concessional loans, or matching funds. As it was said earlier on, yes, when we were looking at Vision 2020, I was part of the technical group. And after submitting a good report, a holistic report, we felt that this financing is necessary. And of course, we have heard of NACRDB, National Agricultural Cooperative and Rural Development Bank. We reorganized it and brought it to be Bank of Agriculture with the aim that that bank should be able to do much of this that we're talking about. Agri venture funds and incubation. We should establish venture capital funds, focus on agri-tech, rural innovation, and youth agripreneurship. Insurance and weather index products can also come up that would develop scalable insurance schemes, index-based parametric insurance to shield farmers from climate shocks. And digital aggregation platforms should be financial intermediaries. Platforms with trade volume can intermediate credit, e-wallets, and input supply chain, while warehouse receipt systems can help farmers to store products in warehouses and use warehouse receipts as collateral to physical assets. Distinguished participants, let's also look at institutional innovation and scaling mechanisms. National agri-tech hubs. We can establish hubs in each geopolitical zone with facility for testing, prototyping, incubation, and outreach. These hubs act as centers of excellence and scaling nodes. While there should be public-private research consortia, universities, institutes, agribusiness firms, and donors should form consortia to co-develop, test, and scale innovations. I tell you, there are innovations that are happening in some of our institutions. We shouldn't just believe that we are totally useless. No, we're not useless, or we are not unproductive. There are little things that are coming up. But when we don't have those who will scale them, those who will encourage them, then they die off. So we must do this. In the areas of extension, transitioned extension services from commodity-based, supply-oriented models should be developed to demand-driven, digitally enabled, and participatory modes. In other words, our activities should focus on these modes, while monitoring, evaluation, and feedback loops should use data systems, dashboards, and real-time monitoring to adjust programs and iterate rapidly. Youth engagement programs, this is very essential. While the government is talking about youth and we have a Ministry of Youth, we should enable them to be engaged in this. Structured internships, agri-tech boot camps, and mentorship programs should come up to attract the youth into farm and non-farm agribusiness. This is something that those of us high up there must encourage in collaboration with the triple helix. That is, the government, institutions should come together with the private sector to enable the youth to be engaged in structured internships deliberately. We can send them to these hubs to learn, and from there, they will start their own. And I say, in my institution, there is something that is going on now. The GIZ is really coming up to encourage these youths. They are coming up with ICSS. So many of us will heard of innovate, create, start, and scale. Even at the 100 level, they are bringing in the students, training them to be entrepreneurs. And right now, many universities are saying that they are entrepreneur universities. And I say my own is part of it anyway. We're entrepreneurship university. Now, we need to address security, policy coherence, and regional integration. As we expand technology and investment, we must confront cross-cutting issues. I'm rounding up now. Security assurance. One of the major challenges that is making us to have this food insecurity is physical security. Collaboration with security agencies, use of satellite surveillance, community policing, and technology-enabled early warning to protect farmers in conflict-prone areas. And I think we all agree, the conflict-prone areas have since enlarged. It's no longer just a cluster. It has enlarged. There must be policy coherence. Ministries of Agriculture, ICT, Trade, Environment, Finance, and so on must align strategies to avoid fragmentation and duplication. While there must be regional cooperation, Nigeria's agricultural transformation will not happen in isolation. Cross-border trade, joint research, and regional value chains must be nurtured under ECOWAS and African continental frameworks. Roadmaps, phases, and priorities. I will not want to bore you much with this, but we must all agree that in our drive to move forward, there must be short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals and strategies that must happen. These are the short-term ones. In about 1 to 2 years, these are things that we should initiate. Having drone services, soil sensor pools for cluster of farmers, establish seed funding, and so on and so forth. But we must not forget to strengthen farmer research linkages, demonstration farms, on-farm trials, and the two-way knowledge transfer. For the medium term, this will span between 3 to 5 years. And I'm believing that when we look at these areas, these strategies, in the medium term, we'll be able to really advance our agricultural space. Warehouse receipts, we've talked about most of them, but let's put them into short term, medium term, and long term. For the long term, these are strategies that will be 5 years and beyond to achieve full rural broadband coverage and digital inclusion, build resilient climate-smart regenerative farming systems across all landscape. And the risks, the mitigations, and ethical considerations that we can put in place to ensure that we really make progress. They are there. sustainability and environmental degradation, institutional, international, and policy reversals. These are the things, the challenges we have. And over here, I've highlighted the mitigation strategies that we can put in place. And a call to collective action. As I round up this keynote address, please, it's a collective thing. Enough of working in isolation that we have done. This transformation cannot be driven by any one actor alone. It will require collective will and coordination, alignment, and courage. Courage of all stakeholders. Government must lead with clarity, policy, and enabling infrastructure. Universities and research institutes must step out and champion applied and scalable innovation. That's the challenge before us as we are seated here. While the private sector must invest in technologies, agri-tech ventures, processing, logistics, and market linkages. Farmers and their cooperatives must be co-creators, not passive recipients of this transformation. Hitherto, we have made them to be passive recipients. Oh, let them bring in. And what have they brought? Is this something that we want? No. They must be co-creators. While donors, development agencies, and NGOs, we have a lot of donors from outside, but they seem to be tired of us. They seem to be tired of just putting in funds and putting in funds without commensurate productivity and results. They must support systemic, not piecemeal interventions. While the youth, and I believe they're also here, the youth must also see agriculture as a frontier of opportunity, not an inheritance of hardship. Because you can imagine somebody saying agriculture as hardship, say, what is all this? I want to go away. Let me paraphrase the words of the great Nobel laureate, Norman Borlaug. The future of agriculture is not in choosing between tradition and science, but in fusing them. We must fuse tradition and science. We must fashion a synthesis where the wisdom of farmers converges with the breakthroughs of researchers, and where tradition is honored even as we are propelled forward. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have some KPIs that I've suggested here. These are performance indicators that any willing system should use to judge itself. And for us, even for the Agricultural Society of Nigeria, to say, are we making progress? Are we moving forward? These are KPIs in the different areas where we have outlined. Illustrative scenario. I round up with this. Let's look at a smallholder farmer in UMUDIKE by 2030. A brief scenario of this might look like by 2030 in this very region around UMUDIKE. A cassava farmer, Mrs. Nkechi, uses a low-cost soil moisture sensor and a mobile app to plan her fertilizer and water schedule. It's possible. It's happening. But we must advance it and scale it. She belongs to a cooperative that owns a drone service. Once per season, the drone surveys pest hotspots and guides targeted spraying. Her cassava yield increases by 30%. She sells to a local value-added facility that processes into high-quality gari and pellets. She stores part of her produce in a solar-powered warehouse run by her cooperative franchise, receiving a warehouse receipt that she uses to access a micro-loan. Her son works as a data technician for the cluster, managing data dashboards and connecting to national agri-tech networks all over the country. And a short distance away, a rural agri-tech hub incubates startups and youths frequent hackathons, building apps for supply chain tracking, predictive analytics, and traceability. The cluster's value-added exports find buyers in West Africa, commanding premium prices. Distinguished participants, this is not science fiction. It is a plausible near-time future. If we act, this is a collective pledge that you and I must choose to embrace innovation with humility and vigor. to ensure inclusion of smallholders, youth, women, and marginalized communities, to promote value addition, diversification, and resilience, and to forge lasting institutional synergies and policy coherence. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, President of Agri Society of Nigeria, thank you very much for your listening attention. God bless you all.
trendybeats.com.
Who God don't bless, no one can cause you.
Let's give him a resounding ovation as we all stand. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. That's wonderful. Please, let's give him another round of applause. That's very lovely indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. All right, thank you very much once again. Our keynote speaker, that was deep. I'm sure those who will report about this conference will have a whole lot to say, including members of the press who are covering this event. So many things to talk about. Generally, he has called for everyone, for every hand, to be on deck if we are serious about agricultural transformation in this country. Thank you very much once again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you had watched closely, we have not listened to the chairman of the occasion and of course the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security. It was deliberate because we had hoped that the governor's representative would have reached UMUDIKE by now to even declare the conference open before the keynote. But then we would now like to listen to the chairman speak to us, and then we'll take the goodwill messages very quickly and go into the awards. It's my pleasure to hand over the microphone to the chairman of this occasion and the Honorable Minister of State, Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Dr. Sabi Abdullahi, ably represented here by our dear Dr. Jude Obidiego. I will hand over the microphone to him. Or would you like to come to the podium? All right. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he comes to address us.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. I would like to borrow from the existing protocol already established by my boss. Before I take the ministerial status, I want to recognize my boss, Professor Chiedozie Egesi, who the Vice Chancellor of Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Professor Iwe, and the President of ASCN, Professor Mbanaso. And I would like to specifically mention some of my mentors here, Professor Shebiri, Professor Ibokwe, Professor Sedeke, and Professor Ekumankama, whose name was earlier mentioned. I appreciate. Now permit me to revert back to my representation. And today I'm giving a speech on behalf of the Honorable Minister for State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Dr. Ali Sabi Abdullahi, Baradim Bogu, CON, FSN, at the 59th Agricultural Society of Nigeria Annual Hybrid Conference on this day, 22nd October 2025. Today, we gather to commemorate the 59th Annual Hybrid Conference of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria with a theme, advancing innovative technology, skills, and digital economy for livelihood diversification in agriculture. At 59 years, the ASEAN can be fully adjudged to have reached a real age of maturity. I believe that you are all gathered here to propose actions that will strengthen our national solidarity in the fight to end hunger, malnutrition, and poverty, and to highlight the need for food security and nutritious diets, which is in line with His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Renewed Hope Agenda, which is aimed at making Nigeria achieve food security and food sovereignty. Your team this year is quite unique. With continuing population and consumption growth, the global demand for food will increase for at least 40 years. Growing competition for land, water, and energy, in addition to the overexploitation of our water resources, will affect our ability to produce food, as with the urgent requirement to reduce the impact of the food system on the environment. Indeed, the global food demand for human consumption and livestock feed is expected to increase by 60 to 110 between 2050. With challenges posed by climate change and constraints to crop yields due to drought, heat, and cold stress, altered soil properties due to deteriorating soil fertility, floods, and sitting of waterways, and challenges of diseases and pests due to the challenges of climate change, experts have submitted by closing yield gaps in the current irrigated and rain-fed cultivated land, about 24 to 80% more crops calories can be respectively produced. For us to reach food sufficiency or improve our current food production sufficiency levels, we need to attain all potential crop production levels for our major food security crops, such as maize, wheat, sorghum, millet, soybean, cassava, and the rest of them. Accordingly, our production system must overcome biophysical and socioeconomic constraints, causing yield gaps in our crops production systems. Several studies have indicated that we must adopt key management strategies as follows: fertilizers, pesticides, advanced soil management, land improvement management strategies, coping with weather-induced yield variability. Overall, we must focus on developing sustainable farming practices as we strive to close the yield gaps for which the experts in agriculture are the key drivers. As we prioritize our actions to attain national food security, it is indeed very compelling that we must adopt climate-smart agriculture, which sustainably increase crop yields while facilitating achievement of adaptation and mitigation goals in crops, livestock, and fisheries production. The development of integrated soil crop systems management and integrated disease pest management with existing crop varieties, an increase of new improved adapted high-yielding varieties under water and nutrient-limited environment should be new targets for your members as elite agriculturists. Indeed, you are the core food shoulders of our future food security. The application of genetically engineered crops by introduction and overexpression of selected genes seem to be a viable option to hasten the breeding of improved, adapted, and high-yielding crop genotypes. Trans and interdisciplinary researchers are needed. Considering the enormity of pressing challenges facing Nigerian agricultural sector, the government has fashioned a clear policy direction to provide roadmap for the strategic implementation of key programs and projects. In perspective, our policy direction is fashioned towards an increased agricultural output in the order to sustain contribution of agriculture to the country's gross domestic product, enhance livelihood while attaining food security. Ladies and gentlemen, it is interesting to note that sequel to supportive policies, rising investment and strategic partnership taken by the government under President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, Nigeria agriculture is now poised for stronger performance. The present administration has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to tackling the complex issues of food insecurity, economic instability, and agricultural development, recognizing the critical role that agriculture plays in driving economic development. The government has intensified investment in agriculture through various initiatives, such as Renewed Hope Agricultural Mechanization Program. Recently, 2,000 tractors and over 9,000 specialized farming implements were launched by Mr. President for the cultivation of over 550 hectares of farmland. The expected outcome is to produce more than 2 million metric tons of staple foods and create jobs for Nigerian youths and women. In a historic mood, the President has also approved the recapitalization of Bank of Agriculture with a massive 1.5 trillion, marking a monumental milestone in Nigeria's agricultural financial landscape. Accordingly, the President has approved the sum of 250 billion credit facility through the bank for the disbursement to smallholder farmers at a single-digit interest rate. This unprecedented boost is targeted at promoting the agricultural sector, unlocking new opportunities for growth, development, and food security. The government has established also the National Agricultural Development Fund to support growth in the agricultural sector by facilitating access to finance and fostering long-term stability. Between 30th August and 7th September 2025, wet season agricultural performance survey was conducted across all 36 states and FCT by NELS in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, other agencies and development partners. The report confirmed growth in Nigeria's agriculture, with rice, maize, sorghum, millet, cowpea, yam, and cassava all recording higher outputs compared to 2024. These agricultural production gains were driven by modest expansion in cultivated areas, improved farming practices and resilience across major producing states, reinforcing food security and sustaining agro-value chains. In addition, we are implementing a dry season initiative for all year-round farming on 5,000 hectares. The first phase started with a focus on wheat in 15 wheat producing states. Second phase covers rice, maize, and cassava. The government is equally scaling up traditional transformation across the agro-value chain through the rollout of special agro-industrial processing zones supported by ADB and other development partners. The National Agricultural Growth Scheme is another flagship program initiated by the federal government to boost agricultural production while enhancing food security and improving the livelihood resilience of farmers and promoting sustainable agricultural practices. The agro-pocket component of the initiative leverages digital technologies to revolutionize the agricultural input subsidies. In response to the numerous challenges faced by smallholder farmers, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has developed short-term plans to make farm inputs more accessible and affordable. In line with Mr. President's promise to ease economic hardship, we have supported smallholder farmers in all states of the Federation and FCT with vital farm inputs and input with the flag of which I performed in Mina, Niger State, a few weeks ago. These are provided at no cost to farmers and distributed through agri-commodity associations, farmers' cooperatives groups, internally displaced persons, women and youths, as well as farmers with special needs. We acknowledge that youths and women are important stakeholders and drivers of innovation and renewal and sustainability in agricultural food system, while recognizing the importance of promoting employment in line with SDGs. In this regard, the ministry is scaling up initiatives that have demonstrated positive impact in empowering women and youth across agriculture and food systems. The ministry has also adopted Every Home Garden initiative of the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, to encourage gender inclusion and food production at the household level. The initiative has been institutionalized as part of federal government's National Agricultural Program to bolster food security and promote sustainable urban farming practices. The government is also promoting climate-resilient parameters, including drought-tolerant crops, efficient irrigation, and agroforestry, to mitigate climate impacts while strengthening economic resilience. We are also implementing programs to combat specific pests and diseases, conducting serial pest control. By addressing such challenges, these programs can prevent damages to crop and reduce crop yield losses. In our quest to reform, re-engineer, and resharpen and reposition the ministry, we have sought and gotten approval for the creation of the following departments to properly focus our mandates. 1, Federal Department of Horticulture. 2, the Federal Department of Plant Health and Pest Control Services. The Federal Department of Agricultural Mechanization. Federal Department of Agricultural Data Analytics. The Federal Department of Agricultural Information and Communication Technology. And lastly, the Federal Department of Development Partners Projects, formerly the Projects Coordinating Unit, the PCU. With the strategic position that the crop subsector occupies in the agricultural sector amounting to about 87%, We have concluded plans for all year-round production in all agroecological zones. We are ramping up all year-round production of our food security crops, which we have classified into 3 tiers as follows. Tier 1, major crops, crops with 100% national spread, demanded and consumed in all parts of the country: rice, cassava, maize, wheat, cowpea, yam, tomatoes, onions, pepper, vegetables, and soybean. Tier 2, 50 to 75% natural spread, including sorghum, millet, plantain, potato, and granite. And Tier 3, crop with less than 50% national spread, which includes archer, sesame, cocoyam, and bambara granite. On the flagship project of our ministry is the Nigerian Farmers Soil Health Scheme, which was inaugurated by Mr. President on Tuesday, October 13, 2025, which with close to 600 farmers, dignitaries, and partners in attendance. Then NFSHS is intended to transform Nigerian agricultural sector at its fast crop and location-specific fertilizer recommendations, which discourage the indiscriminate use of fertilizers, reduce waste, and lower production costs of our farmers. The goal is to establish 774 soil laboratory techs nationwide, which will be overseen by young agripreneurs, particularly women. This strategy will empower our youth and women while ensuring grassroots farmers can easily access these soil laboratories. Currently, cutting-edge soil laboratory equipment has been deployed and successfully in soil for pressures in 12 states across 6 geopolitical zones in the country. Under the directive of Mr. President, and in alignment with the Renewed Hope agenda, the ministry has developed the Renewed Hope Cooperative Reform and Revamp Program, a comprehensive framework comprising 7 strategic pillars designed to reposition cooperative sector as a powerhouse for financial inclusion, agricultural development, and economic propensity. It is pertinent to know that our country has opportunities to radically transform its food production systems and contribute more to regional food security, having the largest agricultural potentials in West African sub-regions. More importantly, our broader goals are targeted at reducing import dependence while strengthening market confidence and reviving agribusiness to position Nigeria as a leading food supplier in West Africa. At this juncture, I urge you all to desist from the academic agriculture and embark on practical and demand-driven agriculture by advocating, identifying, and implementing policies and initiatives that will provide short, medium, and long-term solutions that addresses hunger, food waste, sustainable living farming practices at the local, national, and international level. Let us be mindful of those facing hunger and malnutrition and take urgent steps to reduce food loss. By being part of the global food system, we must all come together to bring about the transformation that the world needs. While wishing you fruitful deliberations, which I believe will come up with doable actions, let me assure you that the present administration has shown the political way to continue initiating policies and programs to transform the agricultural sector, because agriculture holds great potentials for economic development. Thank you very much, and God bless. Having said that, and I wish to use this privilege to declare the 59th Annual Conference of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria being held today, by Michael O'Brien University of Agriculture and National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE, open. Thank you very much.
That's the Minister of State for Agriculture. Please will we rise? That's what it should be after that kind of address by the Minister. Let's now give him a resounding round of applause. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I've said so many things. My takeaway is the zest from academic agriculture. I mean, that's going to be the news. Theories, don't put food in anybody's stomach. Practical. Want to thank the Honorable Minister for that. Our time is fast spent. We still have a number of items we must accomplish in this event today. We'd like to take a few goodwill messages, and then I'll invite Professor Unka to please come and lead us through the award ceremony. We have a number of distinguished Nigerians who have joined us both virtually and those who are here. They'll be bringing us goodwill messages. Please, Mr. Chairman, the hosts, members of the high table, participants, permit me to call first and foremost the regional head of National Agricultural Seed Council, Southeast, representing the Director General. I bring Mr. Kingsley Ube to please come and give us a goodwill message. Please, we request that you limit the goodwill to 1 minute. 1 minute for our time. You may forget the protocols. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Standing on already established protocol, the National Agricultural Seed Council extends warm congratulations to Agricultural Society of Nigeria on the occasion of its 59th annual conference. We commend the ASN for its tireless efforts in promoting agricultural development in Nigeria. NASC is proud to partner with ASN in advancing the cause of agriculture, particularly in the areas of seed development and distributions. Our key areas of focus: promoting the use of quality seeds among Nigerian farmers, enhancing agricultural productivity and food security, supporting the development of the seed industry in Nigeria. Conclusion. On behalf of the Director General of the Seed Council, Honorable Fatou Mohamed Nas wishes to congratulate ASN for its successful deliberation and look forward to continuous collaboration in driving agricultural growth and Nigerian forward. Long live Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Long live Agricultural Seed Council. Then, in a very special way, I want to say thank you to Professor Egasi, our landlord here in Research Institute, and also Professor, the Vice Chancellor of the University, for always giving us a listening ear to partner and drive this Seed Council forward. May God bless us all.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kingsley. Thank you for those kind words and the goodwill message. We'd like to invite our dear Mrs. Florence Osuji to please come forward and bring a goodwill message on this occasion. All right, 1 minute.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed, Your Excellencies, I bring felicitation from World Pronet International and World Pronet Nigeria. We are here to showcase Nigerian products to the world, just as the name inclines. We have representation in over 100 countries in the world. We are in the Philippines, the Asia, Africa, and for the first time, we are here in Nigeria. Yours sincerely, having served with the Embassy of Israel for over 3 decades, I retired last year. as the head of economic desk, I joined WorldPronet and decided to bring it to Nigeria so that we can also benefit from the immense opportunities. The world is going global. Communication is the main thing now, and digitalization. And that is what WorldPronet is all about. Linking you with manufacturers of various products around the world. Name it, and you've got it. Today, we have a pavilion out here showcasing some of the products from WorldPronet. We have agricultural tractors, machineries from China. We have food enhancements for animal feeds, which are plant-based, organically produced. And permit me to say, we want to promote Nigerian products within Nigeria. I was in Gombe State recently, and I found out they are not even aware of what is ukwa to start with. I was talking about it, and they were like, ukwa, what's that? I even tried to, Google and all that. So we need to really let our people know what it is that we have. And that is the essence of WorldPronet. We want to take Nasarawa product, we want to bring it to Abia, we want to showcase. I went around the pavilion to see products that are out there. I didn't see Mia Cocoa. I want to see something from Lafia. We want to see something from Akwa Ibom. We want to showcase things from different states. So we invite you, please join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Florence Suji, for the great work you're doing. Would like to bring the Director General, National Biotechnology Research and Environment Agency. I hope he's ready. Professor Mustafa Abdullahi is presenting or bringing his goodwill virtually. Are we ready with that, please? Professor Abdullahi.
Yeah, I'm representing Professor Abdullahi. Can you hear me?
All right, please, you can raise the volume a little bit. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me, all right. Thank you. I think I was told that I have only 1 minute. I don't know if 1 minute will be okay for me. But so let me just say, I wish to stand on the already established protocol. All the dignitaries that are there, well acknowledged, and all the eminent professors and everyone there, the president and all. My DG was supposed to be there physically. He had actually loved to be there physically, but due to exigencies of duties, he was not able to be there, and he has asked me to give his goodwill message. So I will go straight to read the goodwill message that my DG has. It is with immense pleasure and a sense of profound privilege that I am here before you today on behalf of the Director General CEO, National Biotech Research and Development Agency. The theme of this year's conference, Advancing Innovative Technologies, Skills and Digital Economy for Livelihood Diversification in Agriculture, resonates very, very deeply with the core mission and strategic objectives of NBRDA. It underscores the critical need to embrace advancement and empower our agricultural workforce to create a resilient, sustainable, and prosperous future for Nigeria. The ASN has consistently served as a pivotal platform for knowledge exchange, collaboration, and advocacy within the agri sector. Your dedication to promoting best practices fostering innovation, and providing a voice for farmers and agricultural professionals across the nation is truly commendable. NBRDA recognizes and appreciates the invaluable role ASN plays in shaping the future of agriculture in Nigeria. As the Director General CEO of NBRDA, I firmly believe that biotechnology holds the key to unlocking unprecedented opportunities for agri transformation in Nigeria. The challenges we face today, from climate change to dwindling resources to pest infestations and then food insecurity, demand innovative solutions that can enhance crop productivity, improve livestock health, and then promote sustainable agri practices. We sit on 85 million hectares of arable land with a youth population of over 70% under 30 years. Yet Nigeria accounts for less than 0.5% of global exports. Agriculture contributes 35% of GDP and employs 35% of our workforce. We earn less than $400 million from agro exports. To build a non-export economy, we must rethink a non-oil export economy. We must rethink on how we finance agriculture. Nigeria must urgently broaden its economic base, productivity, value addition, and then competitiveness in non-oil exports are non-negotiable for national survival. NBRDA is committed to harnessing the power of biotechnology to address these challenges head on through our cutting-edge research and development program.
I think we have got your goodwill message, if you don't mind. For want of time, could you round up in 30 seconds, please?
All right. Okay. In conclusion, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Agri Society of Nigeria for organizing this important conference. I'm confident that this event will serve as a catalyst for innovation, collaboration, and progress in the agri sector. NABDA, thus NBRDA, remains steadfast in its commitment to working alongside the ASN and all stakeholders to build a vibrant, sustainable, and prosperous agri future for Nigeria. Together, let us embrace innovative technologies, foster skills development, and harness the power of the digital economy to diversify livelihoods and transform agriculture in Nigeria. Thank you for your attention. May this conference be a resounding success.
Thank you.
God bless the Agri Society of Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Please send our warm regards to Professor Mustafa Abdullahi. Thank you very much. We would have taken a second goodwill message virtually from Architect Kabir Ibrahim, but we're not able to get him. For now, let's take a goodwill message, maybe the last for want of time, from the project manager and national coordinator of African Agricultural Technology Foundation, Aldia Yarama Ndapaya. Please come forward and give us your goodwill message. 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much, moderator. My name is Yarama Ndapaya. UMUDIKE is home, so let me thank the direct ED Root Crops for hosting us. I used to be a director with the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. I'm the immediate past regional coordinator for the African Development Bank project called TAT, based in East Africa, coordinating 13 countries of East Africa. Today I stand in your midst as the program manager, national coordinator for the tailor-made project of African Agricultural Technology Foundation. On behalf of Dr. Canesius, who is the ED of AITF, and indeed the management team of AITF, I bring you greetings to this meeting. If there is any time Africa will need technologies, it is today. And there is no way we can feed the teeming African team coming up and the present in the continent if we do not embrace the use of technologies and innovations. So for us in AITF, we are a technology transfer organization. We believe our farmers can be placed globally competitive if given the adequate technologies they need. For that reason, I want to say that African Agricultural Technology Foundation, we are working in about 24 countries of Africa. So far, we have several products. Technologies come in many forms. They can come as good agricultural practices. They can come as products. For us, we emphasize a lot on products. You might be aware of what is called the pod borer-resistant cowpea that we are popularly using in Nigeria. You may also be aware of the Taylor maize, which is pod borer, Taylor maize is stem borer resistant, drought tolerant, and fall armyworm resistant, doing wonders on the fields of the farmers in Nigeria currently. Our aim is to provide farmers with alternatives that will improve their production, increase their productivity, and enhance their livelihoods. If we do this adequately, then Africa will certainly be able to feed itself. And we're doing this in collaboration with many national partners. The Ministry of Agriculture is not left out. Our research institutions are part of it. But above all, agriculture is actually a private sector-led sector. So we are partnering with seed companies to provide viable options of technologies to Nigerian farmers. I want to wish this House a fruitful deliberation, and we hope that at the end, our communique will capture our aspirations for the growth of agriculture in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That was good. Thank you very much, Yarama Ndapaya. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we have the commissioners for agriculture in Imo State, in Akwa Ibom State, in Abia State, or their representatives here present now. We wish to have received goodwill messages from them. But if they are not here now, we will move on to the next item we have in our program. And maybe when they come in, we may be able to take goodwill messages from them. I crave the indulgence of Mr. Chairman to draw the curtain on goodwill messages so that we can move over to the segment on awards. Because we have quite a lot outside which we need to go and see. I am pleased to therefore invite to this podium distinguished caller who will take us through the awards. A pleasure to bring forward Professor Owoka, CFI Owoka. Please a round of applause for him.
Thank you, sir. Please, I want to very briefly invite the chairman of the College of Fellows to make his presentation before we start the awards. It shouldn't take us too much time. He isn't around, but Professor Rahman, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University Lafayette, will stand in for him and speak to his paper. Thank you. Professor Rahman.
Thank you very much, the chairman of this occasion and other dignitaries, all fellows and members of ASN here present. In the speech, or the good message by Buka Tijani, who is the chairman, College of Fellows of ASN, I've gone through the address and I found out that most of the issues raised in the address were mentioned by the previous speakers, and for this reason I will not repeat them. But let me just mention here from his address that I should inform the Congress that ASN College of Fellow is the body of recipient of meritorious ASN Fellowship, which is awarded to deserving individuals from public and private sectors who have distinguished themselves in their careers and service to society and the nation. So the award is usually conferred on selected recipients of ASN at annual conference like this. And today we are also awarding some eminent Nigeria a fellowship of ASN. And in this case, he ended his speech by congratulating all our new fellows for their selection and achievement as fellow of Agricultural Society of Nigeria and for sustaining this noble tradition of knowledge, exchange, and national service. So I wish to also congratulate all of us, the fellows and members of ASN, for this successful outing today at this conference. May Almighty Allah bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rahman, for standing in for the chairman of the Board of Fellows. We'll go straight away to the award. We have 7 awards that are listed. But we'll be starting with our host, Professor Madwe BBC Iwe. And I want to respectfully call him and request that he stands and remains standing. That's what he does to others at convocation, isn't it? So it's my opportunity of making him to stand.
In 1 month, in 1 week,
thank you, Prof.
You will sing a new song.
I'll take a citation on him very briefly. Professor Madwe BBC of 4 Iwe was born some 67 years ago in Amuda, Isuochi, Abia State, his hometown. He got his first degree from the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, and later received an MSc from the University of Ibadan, and later again went back to his first institution to get his PhD. Professor Iwe, a professional food scientist and fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, a professional member of the Institute of Food Technologists of Chicago, USA, an internationally certified food scientist, and that's why after his name you find CFS. He has traveled the food industry and has made his mark. He's also an international fellow of the a fellow of the International Union of Food Science and Technology. Professor Iwe is essentially a teacher, he's a researcher, he's an administrator, and is mostly at home in the classroom and laboratory with his students. In the 40 years that he has served the system, he has produced over a dozen MSc and PhD students, with whom and in collaboration with other colleagues has attracted some research grants, huge indeed. Professor Iwe's research interest is essentially across disciplinary domain of post-harvest contributions and revolve around 3 major thrusts. Over the years, Professor Iwe has published large volumes of scientific articles, monographs, and books, including the Handbook on Sensory Methods of Analysis, the Science and Technology of Soybean, as well as the Current Trend and Sensory Evaluation of Foods. Professor Iwe has served as the editor-in-chief of the popular Nigerian food journal, NIFOJ. When he did, he took it to an enviable status, and it has not come down since then. He also has a long-standing interest, even from the earliest stages of his professional career, in the emergence of an entrepreneurial culture in the management of universities. In pursuit of this, he has served in various administrative co-management positions in universities, which he worked in. He also, at different times, had been head of department, dean of faculty, dean of student affairs, or they call it dean of trouble, and had also been member of presidential visitation panel, as well as national president of Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Currently, as we can all witness, Professor Iwe is the Vice Chancellor of the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE. His life and administrative philosophy are to provide dynamic, firm, focused, humble, and timely services that stand the tests of time. We also witnessed an invitation to the high table. We were told that the wife of the Vice Chancellor was around and needed to go to the high table. And I whispered to his ears, what God has put together, let no man separate. Professor Iwe is happily married to Dr. Nkechinyere Nkem Iwe, with whom they have children. Mr. President of ASN, from the listings that we have, Professor Madue BBC of Iwe haven't distinguished himself as a food scientist, and in recognition of these achievements and several other contributions, I present him to you and to all of us and the fellows of the society for induction as a fellow of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Mr. President, ASN, please.
In 1 week, you will sing a new song. In 2 days, a lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. 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 Say what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations. God is good. Them say that I can never be all that I see. I've seen that God is greater than that.
By the powers conferred on me as the President of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria, let me call other fellows that are here to come and join us. By the powers conferred on me as the President of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria, I hereby induct you as a fellow of the society. With effect from today, you can now put the prestigious title FASN onto your other titles. Congratulations.
1 month, in 1 week, you will sing a new song. In 2 days, a lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God.
Go.
Okoye, who is next? Who is next? Eh?
1 month, in 1 week, you will sing a new song. In 2 days, or less than, you will hear congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're in the glory
while we are celebrating with Professor Iwe on his fellowship, we'll want to go on to the next.
a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations.
The next fellow to be presented, or the next fellow nominee, is Professor Victor Emmanuel Osodeke. And I want to very respectfully invite Professor Osodeke, please. In fact, he should please come forward, sir.
Them say that I can never be all that I see.
Thank you, sir.
I've seen that.
You know, when there is a looter, he will direct us. But here, I'm directing him. So please, Prof, stand and remain standing. Professor Victor Emmanuel Osodeke is a native of Kokori Inland in Ethiopia local government area. He started his early school in Edo State, obtained his West African school certificate, and while he was doing that, he got it in flying colors, but he was appointed as a senior prefect in his final year. And from there, you start defining leadership in the gentleman that we have brought forward. Professor Emmanuel Osodeke attended the then River State University of Science and Technology in Port Harcourt, where he obtained his bachelor's degree in soil science with first-class honors. He emerged as the best graduating student for that year and was awarded the Vice Chancellor's Prize. He thereafter got his master's in soil chemistry from the University of Ibadan, and again came back to the University of Agriculture in UMUDIKE to get his PhD. Professor Osodeke attended a short course in Israel on climatology. He started his working career at the Rubber Research Institute in Benin, and later relocated to Delta State University, and finally to Michael Okpara University of Agriculture in UMUDIKE. He, at various times, had been head of department, director in the university, member of Senate, and a two-time member of the University Governing Council. Professor Osodeke is also a member of several professional associations, including the Soil Science Society of Nigeria and the ASN. Professor Victor Osodeke has served in several national committees, including the Needs Assessment of Nigerian Public Universities Committee, several Tertiary Education Trust Fund committees, member of Needs Assessment Implementation Monitoring Committee, a member of the team on changing land use plan, land capacity, and soil degradation in communities under the UNDP activities, where the UNDP activities were taking place. He's also been a consultant to Golden Fertilizer on fertilizer recommendation for acid soils of southeastern state. Professor Osodeke is a trade unionist. There's no disputing that, because he carried it to the highest level of trade unionism, where he was the president of ASU. He called it trade unionism, but when we looked at it, we said he was only speaking for the people, speaking for the voiceless, and that was what he did. Professor Osodeke has served as the secretary of ASU, served also as the chairman of the zonal coordinator, as the financial secretary, vice president, and president of Academic Staff Union of Universities. In effect, he went step by step to get to the leadership of the group. Professor Osodeke is happily married to Onome Osodeke, and they are blessed with children. Mr. President, sir, respectfully again, I want to present this illustrious Nigerian, the manager of human resources, a committed administrator, and strong defender of humanity, Professor Vincent Emmanuel Osadeke, for investiture as a fellow of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Victor Osadeke.
Dr. Koye, please come.
lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you, and you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, say what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations.
Hello.
By the powers conferred on me as the President of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, of your outstanding contributions as an international agriculturist, we hereby confer on you the Fellow of Agricultural Society of Nigeria. With effect from this day, you are permitted to put the prestigious FASN after your name. You are here as a fellow of the society. Congratulations.
You will sing a new song in 2 days, lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you.
Is it loud enough? Ladies and gentlemen, while we are busy shaking hands with Professor Victor Osadeke, we'll go to the next candidate. And I'll want again, this time I'll be directing a minister's rep. How I'll do it, I don't know, but I don't have a choice but to do it. I'll want to invite Dr. Jude Ejikeme Obidiegu to please come forward for his decoration as a fellow.
trendybeats.com.
Who God don't bless, no one can cause you.
Please, can we have some quiet so that we can take his citation? Dr. Jude Ejikeme Obidiegu was born some 49 years ago in Azia Town, Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. He has a professional background in agriculture, food security, and public administration, with further synergistic trainings in fiscal management, resource mobilization, research coordination, and leadership/mentorship. He holds a master's degree and a doctorate degree in plant breeding and genetics from the Department of Agronomy, Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE. Dr. Jude Ejikeme Obidiegu has over 20 years experience in agriculture and food systems with a working knowledge in multicultural centers with diverse social background in different countries. His experience as an active member of a community of practice that brings together leading experts on crops. He served as a visiting scientist, focusing on mentoring students in yam genetics at Kyoto University, Japan, under the Japanese Society for Quantitative Traits Loci. Dr. Jude Ejike-Me-Obidiegwu, under the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship in March 2021 to 2013, prior to his postdoctoral experience, did some work with students where his research focused on unlock the genetic diversity of West African yams. Dr. Obidiegwu, the immediate past role was Yam Research Director in the National Root Crop Research Institute, UMUDIKE, Abia State, Nigeria. He has a good understanding of research for development trajectories as a Yam Research Team Lead, Principal Investigator of national and international research projects. His involvement in multi-consortium collaborations and his disposition to sustainable agri-food and resilience impact has made Dr. Jude Obidiegwu to stand himself out. He was responsible for the official release of 10 next-generation market niches, thus impacting on food security, job creation, and livelihood patterns. Dr. Obidiegwu has co-authored many peer-reviewed journal articles, proceedings, and books, and chapters, and editorial reviews. Dr. Obidiegwu is credited with numerous scientific engagements at national and international fora. He is currently, even though he stands here as the minister's representative, but currently he's the provost stroke CEO of the Federal Cooperative College, Oji River, Enugu State, and he also serves as the Secretary General of the National Committee of Heads of Colleges of Agriculture and related disciplines. He is a member of many professional and networking bodies, including the European Plant Society Organization, EPSO, ASN, African Plant Breeders Association, and others. Dr. Ojikeme is happily married, he's widely traveled, and he has a lot of research experience. And that is agriculture that he has invested in. Mr. President, sir, I am inviting you to please, in recognition of this very hardworking Nigerian and an outstanding agriculturist, to confer him with a fellowship of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. The Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, will please assist the President in the decoration. Please.
Dr. Jude Ejike-Me-Obidiegwu, by the powers conferred on me as the President of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, I hereby induct you as a fellow of the society. With effect from today, you can now attach to your name the prestigious title FASN. Congratulations.
You never fail. Day by day by day by day, you're still the same. You're still the same. your glory knows no end. Oh. Forever. You be my lover. My lover. I say you never fail. You never fail. Day by day by day by day, you're still the same. You're still the same.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed happy to celebrate with our newest fellows. But while we are doing that, I want us to gain some time and go to the next candidate. And so respectfully, I want to call on Professor Aminu Ibrahim Sherifai to please come forward. For the avoidance of doubt, he is Professor A.I. Sherifai, and we all know what we can do with AI and intelligence and everything. But his remains Aminu Ibrahim Sherifai. Born in Kano some 59 years ago, Professor Aminu Ibrahim Sherifai started his educational development, and not too long after, he went through the primary, secondary schools, A-level, first degree in agriculture, thereafter obtained his master's and his PhD in agronomy. Those last two from the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. Professor Sherifai is a seasoned agronomist, a distinguished academic and accomplished researcher with a career spanning over 3 decades in agricultural development, in research as well as in teaching. He currently serves as Assistant Executive Director, Extension, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And he was the head of Department of Soil Science and Agronomy at the Federal University of Dutsima, and also in ABU Zaria. He started his professional career as an agricultural officer, eventually came into the university system, and became a professor of agronomy. He has significantly contributed to the development and dissemination of improved agronomic practices, especially in cereal and leguminous crop production, irrigation, agronomy, and field experimentation. At IAR, he has served in various strategic capacities, including Head of Extension Services Unit, Chairman of Faculty Field Practical Training Committee, Principal Investigator on multiple national agricultural projects, and so on and so forth. An active and committed member of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria since 2007, he has held several key leadership roles, including Second Assistant Secretary, Assistant Treasurer, Business Manager, Treasurer, and currently he serves as the Vice President 1 of Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Professor Sherifai is widely published. He has mentored and supervised numerous undergraduate, MSc, and PhD students, some of whom now hold academic and research positions across Nigeria and even without. In recognition of his meritorious contributions, he received the Meritorious Service Award from IAR, Best Research Scientist Award by IAR, and Best Performing Head of Department in the Faculty of Agriculture. Clearly, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Sherifai exemplifies excellence in agricultural science, in leadership, and in national service. His dedication to the vision and growth of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria, coupled with the robust contribution to agricultural research and policy, eminently qualify him for the prestigious Award of Fellowship of the Society. Mr. President, sir, recognizing these traits and achievements and contributions of these fine gentlemen, I invite you to please decorate him with the fellowship of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
In 1 month, in 1 week, you will sing a new song. In 2 days, or less than, you will hear congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you, and you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good.
Professor Sherifai Amin Ibrahim, by the powers conferred on me as the President of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, I hereby induct you as a fellow of the society. The first from this day, you are permitted to add to your title FASN, the prestigious title of Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Congratulations.
Say that I can never be all that I see. I've seen that God is greater than that. Who can battle with the Lord? Nobody. Who can change His mind alone? Through many years, in many ways, I have seen His faithfulness forever and ever.
Hello, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Again, another recipient. Again, another recipient that we want to honor for excellence. I'll want to call very respectfully Professor Lateef Oladimeji Sonny, who, for the purpose of this award, is represented by Mrs. Helen Anyebune. And I want to humbly request Mrs. Anyebune to please come forward, stand here and remain standing. Good. Thank you. Please let me warn that most of these CVs that we are taking, they are huge CVs, some 45 pages. And we are presenting 45 pages in 2 seconds. So that means there'll be lots of information, but we'll try to take the best of them. So the citation on Professor Lateef Oladimeji Sonny. Professor Lateef Oladimeji Sonny, a professor of food science and technology from the University of Agriculture, a thoroughbred academic who obtained his bachelor's degree from the Department of Food Science and Technology of the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and then went for his master's to the University of Ibadan. Finally, he came back home to roost and got his PhD from UNAB as at that time. He started his academic career in 1983 and rose through the ranks to be promoted to Professor of Food Science and Technology in 2008. With 32 years of experience as a post-harvest expert on tropical root crops, mostly with the Natural Resources Institute in the United Kingdom, the Association of African Universities, and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan. He has also forayed with the International Society for Tropical Root Crops. He was the country manager for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, funded Cassava Adding Value for Africa, which came to be between 2008 and 2019. He also was the project coordinator and work package leader for EU Africa. Professor Sonny, in collaboration with colleagues in Nigeria and overseas, attracted many huge multi-million-dollar research grants while working with the NIR, Greenwich University in the UK, on DFID, on EU, on BMGF funds. He is a fellow of many societies and associations, including the International Academy of Food Science and Technology, and also the Academy of Sciences in Nigeria. He is the chairman, Governing Council of Oyo State College of Agriculture. He was a deputy vice chancellor in the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and at different times, dean, director, deputy director, head of department. He has supervised quite a number of students at various levels of academic pursuits, and he has published extensively in journals, books, conference proceedings. Currently, he's the 10th executive director, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Stock Product Research Institute, NSPRI, in Ilorin, Nigeria. Professor Sani undoubtedly is an outstanding scholar. He's a passionate innovator, a team player with social skills, a mentor, a manager, an advocate, and a role model in sustainable development and transformations. He is happily married to Professor S.A. Sani, and they are blessed with children. Mr. President, sir, I want to invite you, sir, that for ASN to hear all of these, we must bring him to our fold. So I invite you to recognize these achievements and the services rendered by this industrious gentleman and renowned food scientist and agriculturist to decorate him with the Fellowship of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Thank you.
We want to, he may be decorated later because he's not here. We can't decorate. So we are, by the powers conferred on me as the President of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, with effect from this day, we induct him as a fellow of the society.
Thank you, sir. The next, ladies and gentlemen, in a list of awardees for this year is Professor Atungu. He is not here, but is going to be represented by a very big one. And I dare say, a very big one. He's going to be represented by Professor Egesi, the Executive Director of the Institute. And so you'll agree with me that the representation is a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have taken quite a number of awards, and this sixth one is that of Professor J.J. Atungu. He is again a product of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Professor Atungu obtained his first degree from the University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. When we heard of this award, I asked some students, Atungu is going for fellowship award. And they told me, Mr. Agriculture is going for award because he was in charge of the Farm Practical Year program. He was in charge of the Farm Practical Year program, and they knew him as somebody. Yes, they knew him as somebody who will get to the farm as early could be, who will walk through the day with them. And so they branded him Mr. Agriculture. Professor Tungu currently is the Professor Tungu currently is the executive director of the Federal College of Agriculture in Ibadan. His appointment came through, but it was a testament to the quality of work he was doing with students, training them from one point to the other in all aspects of agriculture. And so we recognize some of these. There are a few others that I'll quickly look through so that the record can be full for Professor Atungu. Okay. So he coordinated the Farm Practical Year program. He had been head of department. He also had been dean at various times. And Professor Atungu is very widely published and has traveled widely too. He is involved in agriculture, and since he put his hands on the plow, he has not looked back because he keeps making marks and marks and marks in agriculture. And that is what has earned him this award today. Professor Atungu is happily married, very happily married, and is blessed with children. And we congratulate him, and it's in recognition of this that I want to invite the president of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria to please further the recognition of Professor Atungu as a fellow of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria.
Well, though he's being represented by the fellow of the society, who has already been inducted and decorated. But for him, the decoration and decoration will be later. But by the power conferred on me, as the president of Agricultural Society of Nigeria, I hereby induct him as a fellow of the society. And with effect from today, he's entitled to put FASN, the prestigious name of the Apex Agricultural Organization. Congratulations.
The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Zobu, zobu, enyimba, Toya dike, nenu dike. Toya dike, nenu dike. Iye jamara dike ruenu, ebwe chenjigo. Iye jamara dike ruenu, ebwe dagarigo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, the last of the series is for Professor Awoke of... Yes. Professor Awoke of the Federal University in Ebonyi State. Professor Awoke will represented here. He's on his way though, but we cannot keep waiting. And so he'll be represented here by Dr. Dr. Koye, who will receive the honor on his behalf so that we can do business. Professor Michael Uguta Awoke is currently the Vice Chancellor of Ebonyi State University in Abakaliki. He's been a member of the University Senate, been a Federal Commissioner for Public Complaints Commission, a Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of Ebonyi State University in Abakaliki, the Chairman of the School's Mock Accreditation Committee, the Chairman of NUC Committee on Auditing, Pioneer Director of Work and Study Program, Ebonyi State University, and Pioneer HOD of Agricultural Economics Department in Ebonyi State. He holds a PhD and a diploma as well from Israel and a certificate on arbitration. He was born in 1958 and he still has a lot of youth in him, and that's why he keeps working as an agriculturist from one point to the other. Professor Awoke had also serviced the Nigerian Universities Commission for a number of responsibilities. He has done auditing from one point to the other as well. Professor Awoke has rendered community service to different organizations. He also has published in journals, as textbooks, and published in proceedings as well over the years. He has been decorated with a number of honors, including the Academic Nobel International Award by the Institute of Industrial Administration, and he's a fellow too of the Institute of Corporate Resources of Nigeria. Mr. President, sir, this is a distinguished agriculturist and who is also an administrator par excellence. I want to invite you to please further his decoration as a fellow of the Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Well, because he's not yet here, but even now he's still on the road by our rules. He can be inducted later. But by the powers conferred on me, we hereby this day induct him as a fellow of the society. With effect from today, he can attach to his name the prestigious FASN of the Apex Agricultural Organization, ASN. Congratulations.
All right, so far so good. We congratulate the president and the fellows, the new fellows. Professor Moka, you need to take a cup of water. I guess so. All right, just a little break. We want to recognize in our midst the presence of the provost of Federal College of Land Resource Technology, who has joined us here. It's very important that we recognize him, Dr. Ebere Onwujari. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Doc, your seats has been reserved for you. Could you please come forward? Ushers, please, let's usher him to the table behind me. A round of applause for the provost once again. Thank you for taking the time to come be with us. Thank you. I guess the audience, members of the audience here need to drink some water. So those who are in charge of the refreshment would like you to please ensure that people have something to quench their thirst. Professor Walker, please We can continue now with the awards of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in the series will be the 3 awards recognizing excellence in some of our participants. The first is to Professor Shehu Abdul Rahman. Professor Rahman, please come forward. We all heard the president in the morning when he said Professor Rahman had been a great support, financial, physical, and in so many wises to the agricultural side of Nigeria. And we thought we should be able to say, thank you for this initiative, and thank you for all you do for ASN. Don't get tired, because we are in this journey together. And so I want to invite the president to present to him a plaque recognizing this award of excellence.
Professor Shehu Abdurrahman is a distinguished fellow of the society and has continuously done everything to see that this society survives. And at the NEC and council meeting, everybody felt that he should be given something more. On the basis of that, we want to give him an award of excellence in service and leadership. So by the powers conferred on me as the president of the society, I hereby confer on you award of excellence in leadership, which you have demonstrated internationally and globally. Congratulations.
You be my lover, say, my lover, I say you never fail, you never fail, day by day by day by day, you're still the same, you're still the same, and your glory knows no end, forever and evermore. You be my lover, my lover, I say you never fail.
The next award in the fellowship, in the excellence line, is to Dr. Mrs. Ofyong Ofo, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture in Akwa Ibom State, and a 3-time commissioner in Akwa Ibom State. She isn't here today, but she's requested one of us to represent her. And so I want to respectfully call Mrs. Kate Madu to please come forward so that a lady can represent a lady. Dr. Tessie Madu, Director, Planning. And I want to invite the President to please come forward to present to her the plaque for this award.
You're welcome. She has demonstrated leadership. And as a fellow of the society, this is the 3rd time she has been appointed as a commissioner for agriculture. And she has been supportive of the society. And during the council meeting, it was resolved to honor her further. On the strength of that, she merited the award of excellence in leadership and service. So by the powers conferred on me as the president of the society, we hereby confer on her the award of excellence in leadership. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next in the series is to engineer Niji Lucas, the MD stroke CEO of Niji Group. I want to invite Professor Adesoji to please come forward to represent him. And the President ASN, please come forward to present the flag to him.
I say you never fail. You never fail. Day by day by day by day, you're still the same. You're still the same.
By the powers conferred on me as the president of the society, we hereby confer on him a award of excellence in service. Congratulations.
I say you never fail. You never fail. Day by day by day by day, you're still the same. You're still the same. And your glory knows no end.
The final one, ladies and gentlemen, is for Chief Cosmos Maduba, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture in Imo State. This award is presented by the President, but he will be represented by Dr. Solomon Apuake. Please come forward. Mr. President, sir, please also come forward to present this to him.
Thank you very much. By the powers conferred on me as the president of the society, we here this day confer on him a award of excellence in service. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, my job is done. Thank you.
Please, can we applaud him? That's a job well done. Well, I didn't expect anything less. Professor CFI Owoka, thank you so very much. Mr. Chairman, our distinguished members of the high table, participants, I think we have done justice to this ceremony, and we congratulate everyone who participated robustly in the events. Those who joined us later, you missed quite a lot. Those who will join us much later, you missed a whole lot. But then, it's been quite an interesting opening ceremony. We will be taking photographs to remember this occasion. But before then, we'd like to take the vote of thanks. We'd like to take the vote of thanks. I'm looking for Dr. Okoye. I know he's quite busy. He's quite busy everywhere. Is Dr. Okoye close by? Okay, let me invite, yes, please, kindly come forward and take the vote of thanks. I know that Professor Walker is here, but he has just finished an assignment. No, you will take it, sir. Please, please. Please, let's clap for him.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. MC. You've done so well. Well, my job is very simple. The day has been well spent. The day has been fast spent. We give glory and honor to God for giving us a wonderful weather, wonderful environment, wonderful people, wonderful participants, and a safe day for this activity today. All glory and honor to Him. The protocol has been highly established, but by way of vote of thanks, we would want to thank the Executive Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti.
the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Chioma Oti, in absentia and ably represented by the SA to the governor. We also give a whole lot of thanks to the chairman of this occasion, ably represented by Dr. Jude Obidiegu, that is the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, for honoring this occasion, for doing us proud to send a high-powered representative in the person of the provost of the Federal Cooperative College of G River. Wonderful hosts, the duo of the Michael Opera University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, Professor Madre BBC of Fort Iwe, and Professor Chedozie Egesi, our own Executive Director, for standing in to give us a wonderful conference center to hold this 59th annual conference of this our great society. You can agree with me that the Digital Executive Director has done noble to stand in. Thank you very much. The duo of the Vice Chancellor, Michael Opera University of Agriculture, UMUDIKE, and the Executive Director of National Root Crops Research Institute, UMUDIKE. Thank you very much, sir. We will also want to appreciate and thank our dignitaries. The Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Lafia, Professor Abdurrahman, for gracing this occasion. We are honored, sir, for having you in our midst. And the provost of the Federal Cooperative College, Oji River, and the Federal College of Land Resources Technology, Dr. Jude Obidiegu and Dr. Ebere Onwujiarere, respectively. We are honored. We thank you very much for gracing this occasion. We will also want to appreciate and thank the governing council of the Michael Opera University of Agriculture, the principal officers that were here present, from the DVC academic, the DVC admin, the registrar in that order, as well as their deans and directors. We also want to appreciate our own internal management committee of this our great institution, and the directors in our institution, as well as the assistant directors, heads of programs. We appreciate you all for honoring this occasion. Thank you very much. Our goodwill messengers, we appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you for honoring our occasion, and the Vice Chancellor of FONAB, Professor Kainde, for traveling all the way from Abeokuta to give us a wonderful keynote address, a thought-provoking keynote address, a digital keynote address, an innovative one that has sparked a lot of thoughts and policy advice in terms of advice to government and the way forward for agriculture in this country. We appreciate you, sir. And in our communique, we make sure we atomize all you have said in line with the theme of this conference and what we will speak at the conference from tomorrow. We thank you, sir. I think I have done so much in terms of the protocol. I will also want to thank the service units, the gentlemen who dealt with the media in terms of our presentations, the gentlemen of the press, you have done so well. And we appreciate you, including those who made this conference center thick and thin, beautiful for us, the cleaners, those in charge of the decorations, the various subcommittees that worked round the clock to make sure that today was a memorable day. We thank you all. I think I have done my job. Take me the way you have seen me. I've been running around so much. Thank you very much.
We thank you too. We thank you too for thanking others. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Chairman, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the opening ceremony. We will be stepping out to take a group photograph in different orders, but we will rise to take the closing prayer. And that closing prayer, as we have been directed by the National Orientation Agency, is to recite the pledge, the national pledge. So the media will project it, will rise and recite it, and that will be our closing prayer. But we'd like to inform this great audience, particularly the participants, that on the pillars of this beautiful auditorium, you will find pasted on them QR codes, which you can simply scan to tell you where and when your presentation or participation will be for different presentations that will be part of this event, this conference. So find it easy to use your device and scan the QR codes on the pillars that will show you where you should be at one point or another. I think we need to commend National Root Crop Research Institute UMUDIKE for a great job they have done so far. Put your hands together for them. And I know I'm not surprised. The executive director is a .com person. So we commend him. Thank you very much indeed. May we now rise as we take the national pledge to close session. Are we there? One to go. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity, and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. Thank you very much indeed. As a matter of protocol, we'll allow the chairman of the occasion and the executive director and the vice chancellors to step forward or step out, and the photographers will take the photographs and then we'll go. It is also all right, Professor Woke, we understand you, the representative has come in. We recognize you, the Vice Chancellor of Ebonyi State University. Thank you so very much. Please ensure that you also go for lunch. It's time for lunch. Thank you so very much indeed.